we're going to take a calcium supplement tablet that has 400 milligrams of calcium in it and calculate where it comes from mass-wise, assuming it's coming from calcium citrate. There are two very common calcium supplements, and one of them is calcium carbonate, and the other one is calcium citrate. And this is not a straightforward one-step calculation. That's because we're given 0.400 grams of calcium, and we're trying to convert that into mass of calcium citrate. So we have a little bit of work to do here. Here we're given the chemical formula of calcium citrate, and since we want to know the mass of that when we're done, seems reasonable that we'll need the molar mass of the compound. Italicized M means molar mass, and that's done the normal way. You count up all the elements you have in there, and then you take the molar mass for each one, add them all up. What else do we need? Well, we're given how much calcium that's in the tablet, and we're converting that to calcium citrate. So look at the chemical formula of calcium citrate. How many calciums are in it? There are 3. And when I write that down, I don't mean a literal equal sign, because 1 mole of calcium citrate is more than 3 moles of calcium. What I mean is an equivalency. If I give you 1 mole of that compound, it will have 3 moles of calcium in it. This idea right here, it may not look like much, but it's a very important relationship in this section. We're going to use it for compounds. We're going to also use it in chemical equations. We'll probably need the molar mass of calcium also. Now, if you don't know where to start with what you're given. We're given 0.400 grams of calcium. And note how I've written it. I didn't just write 0.400 grams and leave it at that. As soon as you go to a problem where you're going from, say, mass of one thing to mass of something else, you need to put more in your units. And so that's why I've written grams of calcium. Because when I'm done, I need to make sure I have grams of calcium citrate. Now, this is a big dimensional analysis problem. And when you're doing dimensional analysis problems, you have 2 main things on your mind. 1, obviously, have I finished the problem? But 2, what can I do in 1 step? Because the big, long solutions are filled with multiple steps. So if I give you mass of calcium, what can you do in 1 step? Well, you can use the molar mass, and you can go from grams to moles. So when I put the molar mass in there, am I writing it as grams over moles or moles over grams? Well, you're doing it moles over grams. And see, so right here, now I have moles of calcium. Now the reason why we did this, within a chemical formula, the relationship is better viewed as mole relationships. Like I wrote on that second relationship above this, 1 mole of calcium citrate is equivalent to 3 moles of calcium. So on calculations in this section, you should be thinking about moles. Most of the problems revolve around moles somehow. All right, now that we have moles of calcium, what can we do in 1 step? Well, we want moles of calcium citrate. So we know that for every 3 moles of calcium, we get 1 mole of calcium citrate. So think about how I'm going to put that in as a conversion. What goes over what? Now see how in the molar mass conversion, I wrote it as moles of calcium over grams of calcium? Here's the reason why. Now I'm not just writing it as 1 over 3 or even 1 mole over 3 mole. I'm writing it as 1 mole of calcium citrate over 3 moles of calcium. And then look what happens with my units. Remind me, what are we looking for when we're done? Oh yeah, mass of calcium citrate. Oh, we have moles of that. How do we go from moles to grams? Well, let's use the molar mass. And are we going to go grams over moles or moles over grams? We're going grams over moles. So we can have grams of calcium citrate when I'm done. And see the way I put the units in there? To be very clear all the way through each step of the problem. Now, conceptual check at the end. If I have 0.400 grams of calcium, what has to happen with the mass of the tablet that has calcium citrate in it? Well, it has to be more than 0.400 grams. And if you do the multiplication division, you get 1.66 grams of calcium citrate. There is another way to work this problem. And if you can get the percent of calcium in calcium citrate, you can then use the percent along with the 0.400 grams and turn that into mass of the tablet. However, I'm not going to show you that method, not because it's wrong, but it's not a good general problem-solving technique for this section. Really, in this section, you need to be focused on going between grams and moles and moles and moles within a compound and within a chemical equation. Now, this is one common calcium citrate supplement. And you look over at the ingredients. They also provide vitamin D in it, but there's other things too. A big thing is binders in a tablet. If you're going to make this calcium citrate into a pill, you have to put other compounds in it that will allow it to compress and then hold its shape so it can survive shipment. And then also, it has to be done in such a way that when you ingest it, it gives your body a chance to absorb it.